Oh, what's your name and where are you from?
Kyle from Chicago.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
You just visiting?
Yeah.
You ever been to Nashville?
A couple times, yeah.
For a Blackhawks game?
Yeah.
All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not a lot and 10 being a whole lot, how much would you say you know about hockey?
Probably like, I didn't play professionally or anything, so probably like a 4.
Oh, wow, okay.
Fan of the sport, I don't know. Some people say I don't know that much, so.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith, Brett Seabrook, Corey Crawford, Nicholas Chalmerson, Johnny Oduya, Michael Roosevelt, Brian Bickle, Dave Boland, Nick Foligno, Taylor Hall, Andreas Athanasiou, Connor Murphy, Seth Jones.
Anytime. That was great. I there were some good names in there. Brian Bickle and what was it? Roosevelt? Was that it?
Yeah, big Hawks fan.
Yeah, most of the 2010 or 2013 Chicago Blackhawks. Were you watching that team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
What is one change you would make to the NHL right now?
I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome. I don't really have a specific change. I love the game, love where it's at, love the players that are in the game, and it's all good to me.
Honest question. Do you think that the league rigged the draft in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks?
No.
Tell them.
I'm very confident.
Okay, all right.
Fucking tell them.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that was our GM, Kyle from Chicago, in the streets of Nashville, being interviewed by someone who had no idea who he was, because Kyle Davidson, he just looks like, a regular guy. Like, he's a muscular guy. He was like walking around in his t-shirt, like he's well built, but he just looks like a regular guy. Like, I don't think he's too tall. But yeah, that was Kyle from Chicago. That was over a month ago now. I know it's been a while. A lot of shit has happened, but how are we doing? Dylan, how are we doing? Reagan, how are we doing?
It's the off season. We're just hanging out.
We're chilling right now.
Yeah. I mean, the hype of the off season's died off for sure. So
it died off like real quick. Like it died off. Right after
it's
free agency happened.
Everyone talks about off season hype. It's like a 10-day span from June, and then maybe like 2 days into July this year, and then that was about it, which is fine because honestly, it was a long season to begin with.
I feel like we kind of needed that because really, this is probably the most regular summer we've had since 2019. Because obviously 2021 was, even like last year, 2022, I think free agency was like a couple weeks into July, and then there was the World Juniors that happened in August last year. Like, we were still having remnants of COVID. 2023 is like the first normal offseason where it's like, okay, draft is in late June, free agency is on July 1st, as it always should be, and then nothing else, nothing really. Like, there was the DeBrincat trade that happened, I think, a week after, but other than that, it's been all silent. But I kind of like that. I like just turn everything off for hockey, but once it starts up in September I almost said spring training, but with training camp, and then the regular season actually starts in October, that's when it's gonna be a lot exciting. There's actually legitimate excitement this year because obviously the Blackhawks did draft Connor Bedard first overall. I just about said Connor. They're both so great.
Listen,
great Connors. There's something about Canadian kids named Connor playing hockey being generational talents. But not only did they get Connor Bedard, they got Oliver Moore in the draft. They had a great draft, and they got some NHL ready talent now. So we all know what happened. Like, this is well over a month now. It's blowing my mind how like things have just flown by here. So we all know what happened. Like a Quentin Tarantino movie, we're gonna work our way to the back and then we're gonna go in chronological order here. So we're gonna go back to June 26th when I was at the Calgary airport. My flight got delayed like 2 or 3 hours to Chicago. That was fun. So I had a lot of free time. I was eating at this burger place. I forget what it was called. It was pretty good. Checked my phone, and it said Elliot Freeman said that, Boston, Chicago are working on something, but we'll see where this goes. And then I'm just sitting there thinking, there's no way it's Taylor Hall. Like I was thinking it'd be someone like Mike Riley, like Derek Forbert or something.
Charlie
I saw the
Coyle was brought up.
Charlie Coyle, yeah. And I see Ben Pope. It's like I think he said that it'd be crazy if they got Taylor Hall, and then later, sooner than you know it, not even one of the big insiders broke it. But don't be saw 20. Who's gotten a couple trades before? I know he got the Seth Jones trade. Yeah, I think he got the Hagel trade too, and now he got the Taylor Hall trade. I saw the tweet. Like Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno to Chicago for Ian Mitchell and Alec Regula. And I was like, okay, maybe that's not exactly it, but that gave me some hope that, okay, Taylor Hall is going to be a Chicago Blackhawk. And then obviously you saw Elliot Freeman, Frank Cervelli, all those guys tweet it, and it was official. So before you even make the first overall pick, like you get a player for him, like, you know you're drafting Connor Bedard, but you cannot go into next season having the roster that they have right now. With all due respect to our third and fourth liners, none of them are good enough to play with Connor Bedard. Taylor Hall is a former first overall pick from 2010. Like he's gone through a lot. Like he's been in the league for 13 years now. He's the guy that's won an MVP. He's had a lot of ups and downs. He's mostly played on bad teams, but he played on a historically good team last year in Boston, and now he's heading back to a not so great team in Chicago, but he gets to play with Connor Bedard. And from a pure on ice aspect of things, that's a great trade. I saw people being like, well, the Blackhawks should leverage the Bruins more and got more draft picks back. I mean, blah, 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 whatever. Like, you got Taylor Hall for
not everything is NHL 23.
No, you can't just nickel and dime every single team for value. Like, I don't know. People are going to complain about things, and it's the Blackhawks, so of course. But you get a guy who's going to play with Connor Bedard. I feel like there's a misconception. Like, Taylor Hall obviously can score goals, but he's a damn good playmaker. Taylor Hall is going to be Connor Bedard's line mate. And I feel as soon as we found out we got the first overall pick, I was thinking, I'm like, Lucas Reichel and Connor Bedard, like, those are going to be line mates, not only for the future, but also next year. But I think for this year, it's going to be Taylor Hall and Connor Bedard. And again, like, from an on-ice perspective, that makes so much sense how Taylor Hall is going to get him the puck. Bedard might score 25, 30 goals, and Taylor Hall might probably not point per game, but maybe someone who can score 60, 70 points. And also, this is a guy, went first overall. He knows the pressures of going first overall, of playing on not so great teams. He played for Edmonton for all those years, and he got traded to New Jersey. They only made the playoffs once.
Buffalo.
Went to Buffalo for a few months for a cup of Joe, and then he got traded to Boston, where he was on some good teams. I think they won one playoff round with him. I don't know, but like they won a lot of games in the regular seasons. But now he's back on a not so great team. But great trade. What do you guys think about it? Don't want to ramble on too much.
Reagan, you can go first.
Yeah. I liked it. It caught me off guard a little bit. I was sitting at work at my desk, and I kind of like put my phone on Do Not Disturb so I don't get distracted all day. And I just happened to check it. I was like, wait, Taylor Hall is a Blackhawk now? But I think it'll be good. It'll like work out well because then you have like Bedard and like, a lot of the younger guys, someone to like look up to and help them like develop their game.
100%. One thing that won't get talked about a lot with Taylor Hall is he's been at the top and the bottom of what a first overall pick can bring. The guy won an MVP and dragged his team to the playoffs. He's also scored like 2 goals in 30 games and got traded to Boston in the same year. So like he's been on both sides of the spectrum and can bring some not insight, but just like give the kid a pointer if he hasn't scored in 3 games or something. Like it's, very realistic things that can happen to an 18-year-old in their rookie year. Because like, there's all the posters and stuff about like, oh, is he going to get 40 goals as a rookie? Like there's only been 2 guys to ever do that. And since the cap got implemented, and that's Ovechkin and Matthews. So I'm not putting those expectations on him, but having a guy like Hall helps ease that in. And like another thing that doesn't get talked about enough is Foligno's going to bring a lot of leadership.
Yeah, Nick Foligno. I think the big headliner is obviously Taylor Hall, but I think Nick Foligno is going to be a great piece. Again, not like he's not going to get a ton of offense. I think that's maybe a guy who could score 10, 15 goals, and he's only signed for 1 year. You could easily retain half his cap, flip him at the deadline. But for the time being, I think he's going to bring a lot of leadership to that Blackhawks room, and same with Taylor Hall. Both of them are.
Yeah, and they're getting, well, at least in Foligno's case, he's getting a pretty paycheck to do it too. So, and I got to imagine. I mean, the thing with a lot of those deals that they've signed, because a lot of them are in like the $4 million range. If you've retained 50%, you could still flip them for $2 million.
That's $2 million. Teams
But
will
like,
put that on.
It just depends, honestly. Like, depends what he wants to do. Because like, I could see a world where Hall wants to get flipped if he's having a good season, and they could probably get a decent return for him if they retain. So like, there's a lot of those cases with these players, but at least from like a locker room presence standpoint, it helps out a lot. Because I mean, you heard it from Hall, like he was a little iffy on the trade at first. Because granted, like he didn't have the Hawks on a 16-team no trade, which is interesting, but also like everyone's got their own opinions on where they want to stay in life. That's fine. But like he said, immediately some of the guys they brought in like helped ease the pain. Like I know we haven't talked about it yet, but like them trading for Corey Perry, having Foligno, like having good locker room guys, it's gonna help. Like when the going gets tough, which it will eventually this season, it always does. I mean, for God's sakes, like from November to like February last year was a gong show. Like if it gets that bad, you're gonna need guys in the room who can ease the pain of losing a lot, because that's kind of what's the writing still is on the wall for this team. It's still 5-year rebuild, like, but we'll see. I like the trade, and also like the fact that they only had to give up Mitchell and Regula is still insane. Like, I guess that just tells you how like tight the salary cap is right now with some teams.
This team is really young, and I think I know we haven't like talked about Perry yet, but I think bringing guys like Hall and Perry are going to be really good for those young guys, because those guys have like been through like really good teams and really bad teams, so they can kind of help like maybe like boost morale a little bit when you hit that rough patch, because like you said, it's kind of bound to happen. So I think it'll be good.
Yeah, we talk about bringing in Hall, former MVP player. We also brought in Corey Perry, a former MVP player, but
former 50 goal
scorer. Former 50 goal scorer. That is so right. Kind of to touch up on the Hall and Foligno trade, like when the whole Kyle Beach thing broke out, like the Boston Bruins, from what I saw and heard, were one of the teams that watched that interview and said like, this can't happen in our locker room. I remember Taylor Hall spoke about it when the Mitchell Miller stuff happened in the Bruins locker room. Like Bergeron is not happy. Foligno, who's been a former captain, was not happy with it either. So not only are you getting like, these guys are not bums. Is Nick Foligno the 30 goal scorer he used to be? No, but this is probably a guy who might score 15 goals. And he's also a good locker room guy. It's not they're
good
just
on the penalty kill.
Yeah,
like he brings, like these players can still be players, are like usable, not usable, but serviceable players on a hockey team. Like they're not like borderline replaceable like half the bottom six last year, but like they will be bottom six players most likely outside of Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall will definitely be in the top six, but we'll see.
But yeah, it's. We've said since the beginning, the biggest thing that needs to change is the culture, and obviously having a great guy like Kyle Davidson at the top and what he's done, it's helped a lot. Luke Richardson is an amazing coach, and now you're bringing in players that want to be in Chicago. Like Taylor Hall, yeah, he was probably shocked at first, but I think there's probably worse places in the NHL you can go and play. Like you're playing in Chicago. Whatever you think about the Blackhawks as a franchise, Chicago is an awesome city. I can say that now firsthand, being there. and Nick Foligno, like I think he was thrilled from the start being in Chicago. Like Seth Jones was his former teammate. I'm pretty sure he probably had some good words to say about it. So yeah, that's that trade. Unless we have any closing thoughts on it.
Well, I think we get to the fun stuff now, because
this is where the fun begins. Yeah, they didn't do anything else till the day of the draft, June the 28th. So it finally happened. They drafted Connor Bedard. Let's play our reaction to it. Hang on. How come the volume is not on? Here we go.
Yeah! First, like to recognize the incredible career of David Boyle and congratulate him on his retirement.
Oh, what a fine speech. Hopefully we didn't hear it 25 more times that night.
30 times, no. And we didn't hear that 30 times either.
Fucking GMs are such kiss asses. It was cool too. We were in like where we were sitting. It was mostly Blackhawk fans too.
Dude, it was half and half, I think.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats.
There we go. So that was our reactions to Connor Bedard getting drafted first overall. It still doesn't feel real. Like he did all that stuff with the prospects off the ice. Like we got to see him with the Blackhawks. Then we saw him on the ice with the Blackhawks and he signed his contract, but it still doesn't feel real. I gotta once he plays a regular season game, when we see that first game in Pittsburgh, him playing against Crosby. And how about that? So Connor Bedard was born on July 17th, 2005. He just turned 18. He's accomplished all of these great feats as a young hockey player. The thing about amazing hockey players is they exceed expectations and they do everything to make their game better. In the COVID season, Connor Bedard went over to Sweden. He was like 2 points per game. He was a goal per game. Then last year he was like a 50 goal scorer. I don't have I'm going to pull up the stats here, but I know for fact this year he put up outlandish, cartoonish NHL
71 goals, 73 assists. I want to say 72 assists, something like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's comical how crazy those stats are, and not only that, like the Regina Pats were not a good team. So yeah, 2021. The COVID season, he played a bit in Sweden. Sorry, I got the stats wrong. So he actually came back to Regina, had 12 goals and 16 assists in 28 points in 15 games. Last season, 2021-2022, 62 games played, 51 goals, 49 assists for 100 points. This last season, 57 games, 71 goals, 72 assists, 143 points, dragged an average Regina Pats team to the playoffs. Even though there were rumors that, Bedard might get traded, he did not. He stayed in Regina. And for anyone that was saying, he might pull a Lindros, that should tell you everything you need to know right there.
Man,
fuck all those people.
Some of the people like posting stuff for 3 weeks until he could sign was very funny.
Even we love the Steve Dangle we met the Steve Dangle podcast in Nashville. That was pretty cool.
Yes,
They're awesome people. I heard on the podcast they were like, Connor Bedard hasn't signed yet.
What if he signs a 1-year deal? Like
as we brought up earlier, he didn't turn 18 till July 17th, which is exactly 2 weeks ago now.
I like the ones that were like, well, he should just like refuse to sign. Like, why would you want to play in Chicago? He should just refuse to ever play there and like go to a team that like
go to a real team like Arizona.
The Arizona Coyotes, let's go.
Like whatever. It's just like at this point, it's like background noise to me whenever I hear that stuff. I just kind of I don't even laugh anymore. I just go, okay. Well, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy my player while you guys sit there and be miserable for the next
everyone's
decade.
like, I can't believe I have to root against Connor Bedard now.
You don't have to. You just want to feel different. So
yeah, I mean, cool. You can do that,
guys. Look at how good of a person I am. I don't root for this bad franchise that has no one from that bad friend.
You muted now.
No, the mic unplugged. Literally, there's no one from that franchise anymore, or from that time of the franchise. No one is there anymore. We'll get into that later. But dude, at this, I'm so glad we're in a time in society where people have to scream how much of a good person they are, when in reality, they just keep bringing up someone's trauma as a fucking low-hanging fruit.
And the ignorance that their team,
right, and center,
and the ignorance that their team wouldn't have done the same thing. Like, come on.
I'm not even gonna I just don't like it.
Let's not get into this. This is happening.
I just pray that never happens to your favorite team, because I will see a lot of you just do a complete 180, and
Yeah.
I'd put money on it.
That's the thing. If it was their team doing it, they're still gonna support their team and like.
And if you don't, more power to you. Like,
yeah,
cool. But I just, whatever, dude. Like, you could talk, like, people could talk and say they do all this stuff until it happens to you. I don't want to hear it. Like, just sit from the sidelines and enjoy your team, which, like, most of these guys are fans of, like, freaking, like, 7 teams. So just pick one of them and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good Lord. Stay in your lane, we'll stay in ours. Sorry.
Back to Connor Bedard's stats. In the World Juniors, like, again, on a national stage, everyone in Canada is watching. A lot of people in the U.S. and around the world in Europe are watching. 23 points in seven games. Canada won the gold medal. 9 goals, 14 assists. Oh, there we go. Postseason, again, like I said, dragging the Regina Pats as the captain into the playoffs as a 17-year-old, 7 games, even though they ended up losing, 10 goals, 10 assists for 20 points. This guy elevates and impresses at every level. Yes, he is only 5'10", but who cares?
He's built like a shit brick house.
He is built like a shit brick house. He has tree trunk thighs. Like, yes, he is 5'10", but he's not like he's 160 pounds. He's 185 pounds. He's gonna tack on some more muscle. Like, he might play at like 200 pounds. Like, Sidney Crosby is only 5'11", but he's like 200 pounds.
He's gonna just kick ass and take names. That's great. That's insane.
Oh yeah, and he's got guys who are gonna allow him to play his game because. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's one thing we talked about with the last regime of prospects that came up is no one would effing stand up for them when they got their ass kicked. But that's not going to happen this time. If anyone even breathes on him wrong.
Adam Boakfist would just like get crushed in the corner or Kirby Doc and nothing would happen. And it would just keep happening.
Oh no. Anyway, no like every time.
I think my favorite part about the fact Perry plays with the Hawks now is we got him before he's cheap shot Bedard.
Oh, God.
There you go. I didn't even think of it that way.
You're just gonna get all. I'm surprised they didn't go try to sign Radko Gudas just to get him.
They tried to sign Milan Lucic, but he went to Boston.
Hey, who was advocating for that for over a year?
No
this
one
guy.
on
It
the
should have happened.
It did almost happen, but then he went back to Boston.
Yeah, can you blame the guy? Like, go back to where you won a cup and played your best years. Like, except for that 1 year where he had 30 with McDavid
and outlasted Bergeron and Krejci. But we'll more on that later.
Yeah, that is crazy. But I guess we should probably get into the rest of the draft, right? Because we could talk about Bedard for another hour if we wanted to. We got all.
Oh, we can talk about Connor Bedard for the next 10, 15 years, however long we want to do this podcast.
Probably.
Connor Bedard is at worst a franchise player. He's going to be the number 1 center. He is going to be the captain. All those videos you saw of him, like,
dude, if he ends up like John Tavares, I'm happy. Which is like a point per game player, and like you said, captain. Sorry. Because, like, you know, there's the reporters that are like, oh, well, you know, you got to temper your expectations. I'm pretty sure most people have their expectations.
Yeah.
Tempered. Well, most people who, like, look at hockey, like, glass half full and not just like, he's going to get 110 right out the chute.
My glass is empty right now.
My glass is half full. Actually, now it's half empty. Damn it.
Oh, damn it.
No, but he, like you said, Pierce, like, even if he doesn't put up those ridiculous numbers, like, this guy's still gonna put up points in the NHL. There's not a doubt in my mind.
He's like, and like, back to all these great players, they find ways to evolve their game. Sidney Crosby came in the NHL, had 102 points, finished second in Calder voting because Ovechkin had like 55 goals or something, like 110 points. Oh, Crosby's a whiner, takes too many penalties next year.
He had 100 penalty minutes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, he's a whiner, yada, yada, yada. And then next year, oh, he doesn't win face-offs. Dude. Won like 50% of the face-off. Oh, wait, he doesn't score goals. Goes ahead and wins a Rocket Richard, wins Stanley Cup. Like, they just, no matter how much you hate these great players, these great talents, they will find ways to get better and stay great and be great for a long time.
Nothing makes me laugh harder than Sidney Crosby's rookie year. He had 102 points and 110 penalty minutes as an 18-year-old.
And barely an 18-year-old. Like,
oh my gosh. Like, that's the only time anyone's ever had a crazy season like that. Like, I don't know, man. Temper your expectations a little bit. He'll be good.
Hi, Stevie. What do you think about Connor Bedard? Meow. Yeah, me too, Stevie. But yeah, Connor Bedard, we like his style of play. Like we can say, oh, he has a little bit of Patrick Kane. He has some Austin Matthews with his wrist shot. He's built like Braden Point. Like he's just his own unique player. He is Connor Bedard, and we are truly blessed. Like we could go on for the rest of the show talking about how great he is, but we really have 10, 15, maybe even 20 years to talk about his greatness. But yeah, they got Connor Bedard, and that helps speed things up a lot. At least them being contender.
Speaking of speed,
yeah, that's a great transition. Before we get into that, though, the point I wanted to make was with Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby was drafted on July 30th, 2005. Connor Bedard was born July 17th, 2005. So he was only 2 weeks old when Sidney Crosby got drafted. And only a couple months, the first game the Blackhawks play this year will be in Pittsburgh. Crosby will be playing with Bedard. 18-year difference. They get to play against each other. That is freaking awesome.
Wonder if Pittsburgh's coming in pissed at that game because they got knocked out of the fucking race by the Hawks last year. Like they're oh man, they're gonna get Crosby and Malkin with
that's gonna be a fun first.
Welcome to the league, kid. Getting Sidney Crosby on a summer of sitting in his.
I can't wait till Connor Bedard breaks Ryan Graves' ankles and scores on Alex Nedeljkovic because
he's scoring on Tristan Jarry because he just got that 5-year extension.
Yeah, that's right. So much has happened. I've forgotten most of it, but yeah, Connor Bedard. I think he is a good player, but getting the first overall pick doesn't mean you have an automatic guaranteed team. Look at the Oilers. Yeah, you got Drysdale third overall. You got David first overall. But look how many years it took for them to get into playoff contention. It took like 7-8 years for them to finally get together and be like, oh, you actually have to put players around these good players, and we might actually make deep playoff runs. The Blackhawks also had the 19th overall pick, and I don't know if we want to talk about like the rest of the draft because I feel like Nashville was a great atmosphere, but I feel like in terms of hockey, like not including the Blackhawks, like seeing Connor Bedard get drafted first overall was great. But other than Leo Carlson going second over, and even that wasn't that big of a surprise. Like
Arizona's picks were pretty shocking.
Arizona pick. But like other than that, everything kind of went as planned. Last year was chaotic because we didn't know it was going to go first overall. There were trades. The Montreal crowd was crazy, but everything this draft went to plan. Like there was really nothing that came out of other than Arizona, I would say.
Yeah, I mean there were no trades for the first time since 2007.
I wonder who was drafted first overall that year.
Oh man, I wonder. Certainly wasn't a Blackhawk. I don't know. We'll see. But everything was pretty run of the mill. Like Detroit's was a little off the board at the time, but like I guess it makes sense at the time. Like I still would have went Benson, but whatever. Benson falling the Sabres because of course, like that had to happen.
Yeah, Buffalo is going to be the most fun team in the NHL. They're so good, but
they're gonna have to trade some of those guys. They're not gonna be able to keep all of them.
Oh no, then they might have to trade one of their forwards for a right-hand defenseman.
They might actually get Brett Pesce. No, but yeah, I mean, I thought San Jose had a great draft, like Will Smith and Quentin Musty in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good day two also. Columbus, of course, knocked it out of the park. Fantastic.
Yeah, about as easy as a pick as you can make at number 3. Yeah,
but then they got Brindley, Whitelaw. There's one more player I'm missing that they got that's pretty highly ranked or was highly ranked. Like they just keep stacking up talent in their prospect pool, and now they have a legit number 1 center, which is what they've needed in
their whole existence.
Seriously, like Stillinger's a good middle 6 guy, and Johnson's going to be a good winger, but they didn't have a 1C in their pool, and now they do. And he signed on already, so he's going to probably be playing night 1 between Line A and Gaudreau, which is pretty slick, for being honest. So, I mean, Mitchkov going to Philly. I mean, I feel like it got pretty clear once, like, the weekend before, I feel like it got kind of clear that was going to happen. Like, there were the reports that, like, Arizona was going to F off, or he was going to tell Arizona to F off.
I mean, they took Russian players. They just weren't.
Oh, dude, no. We forgot to talk about Carey Price fumbling David Reinbacher's name. Oh, that's so bad.
I forgot his name.
Oh, Poor guy. Jeez. And he was already going to get like hate comments because it wasn't Mitchkoff and it was a defenseman. But I felt bad for Reinbacher that day. That was tough. And then, of course, like that forced Arizona to play, like go off board because they probably wanted Reinbacher.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went Simashev, which, I mean, we'll see how that plays out down the road. But I don't know, man. It was a pretty straightforward draft. Oliver Moore fell to us, which was awesome.
Mhm.
Like the fact that,
so excited about that.
oh my God, yeah, just bullet train. And the fact that like in the Blackhawks like documentary of the draft, it shows Davidson was like actively trying to trade.
I got the video up right now.
He's like actively trying to trade up for him. It's awesome.
Detroit's gonna make their pick. Well, one guy. I know. No one's willing to give them to us. So. What are you doing today? That's the fan.
That's
Yeah, absolutely.
Big Jets are proud to select Ramon Sound of UHL.
Come on, right?
Actually, me in the stands.
Can't believe it.
That was all of us.
I can't believe it. Detroit's.
But as soon as we heard that, I'm like, it's gotta be Oliver Moore.
Yeah, I think all of us up there were like, it's either Moore, Musty, or Perot. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they expected Moore to be there at 19, clearly.
No, they did not.
So-
They were doing everything they could to move up, even if it was by one spot. But it ended up all working out. Here's our reactions to him getting drafted.
Oh, yeah, I had to turn off my phone by then. I had a dead phone.
Oh yeah, got those like chargers from the concourse.
Oh
I
my
didn't use
gosh.
that too because I was about to die.
Well, yeah, because for listeners, we went to the draft very last minute, so I went on like a 40% battery to the.
NHL draft. Chicago Blackhawks are very proud to select Oliver Moore.
Let's go!
You and I both like were the only ones that screamed.
I was so sad I couldn't do that with you guys.
What a pick! That's a great fucking pick.
Next year in Vegas, we're all going.
I don't think it's confirmed yet, but if it's Vegas, we're going.
That was the rumor. Like, I think it's gonna be Vegas.
And Mr. Blue Sky was playing it, top it all.
Oh, that's how you know he's gonna be a good pick.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah, you get Connor Bedard first overall. That helps a lot, but you need players around him. Oliver Moore was the fastest player, best skater in this draft, and by quite the margin. Like he is a great skater. He makes plays at high speed, and we see videos from the World Junior Showcase of him just buzzing by everyone
With Gavin
Love it.
Hayes
Mm-hmm.
on his line.
Future, but is he gonna be a first line center? No, he doesn't have to be because Connor Bedard's gonna be the first line center. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights with William Karlsson as their second line center. Pretty similar. Guy who skates his ass off, works his ass off, good playmaker, just like a good all around guy. Like elite in nothing except for the skating, but just contributes everywhere and is a reliable second line center. And I think that's what Oliver Moore is going to be. And now, like Frank Nazar, probably won't have to play center. He gets to go to the wing now, probably. And Oliver Moore, not only is he going to university, he's going to the University of Minnesota. Now with Logan Cooley going to Arizona, it's a good chance he might be the number one center there and get some pretty big minutes.
Speaking of Frank Nazar, he just scored in the tournament.
There you go.
But it's interesting that they have him playing 1C right now at the development program. But like you said, like Fantilli's gone, Cooley's gone. Like all these, like our top guys are going to get big minutes in college next year. Renzel's going there next year. It'll be nice to see him play against college men. And yeah, like it's a good, like nothing makes me happier than like when you've been following a guy all year and you hear good things from the prospect guys, and it's like, man, I'd really like my team to draft this guy, and they do, and it's like not the way you would have expected it to be. Because for a while, I thought Moore was going to be top 10, like shooting, but then the back half of the year happened where that Will Smith line just went ballistic and Ryan Leonard's stock skyrocketed and everything. So, hey, it worked in our favor. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, I love his game. Like, I see this guy as like a two-way second line center, and that's exactly what this team needs, especially with the offensive dynamo like Bedard predicts to be.
Yeah, I thought like it was kind of the same last year with Frank Nazar. Like I thought we were gonna pick him, like we might have get him set 7th, but he fell back to 13, and yeah, and then this year we thought maybe we might get Oliver Moore, but it might happen by way of trade up, like to like 13 or 14 or whatever. But we still get him at 19. So just any first round you get Connor Bedard, like that's an A plus. But getting Oliver Moore too, that's an A plus 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 plus. Just great first round, and then second round too, some good solid picks as well. They picked the goalie who Connor Bedard deked his jockstrap off in the World Juniors, and now they are teammates. Adam Guyan, who I think is going to university next year. I forget.
He's either that or he's going back to the Gamblers. I'm not sure, but
he's going to the University of Minnesota Duluth.
Yep. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. I personally thought they were going to go Robble.
That's what I did too.
And then I think he went to San Jose, or was it Arizona?
Arizona.
Okay.
Now he's going to be a bust. Anyway.
I mean, listen. I mean, if that's the only pick I'm questioning out of like the first 3 rounds, then
we should have gone Kristaps. Well, whatever. You're not gonna get every pick.
I think this was a big fumble by the Blackhawks. I don't know, man. You know, you really should have taken Connor Bedard's best friend who can't skate, even though their head scouts screamed all year that they're not taking guys who can't skate. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it fits your stupid agenda more. Sorry, like the way people got bent over backwards over that pick of all picks is hilarious. Like, didn't say anything about Kanserov. Lardis in the 3rd round, which was like probably their best pick of day 2. And I mean, I don't mind Ferrand. I think Mishiak's going to be solid. Like, they had a pretty solid day 2 of the draft, I'd say. Marcel, best name ever.
Fucking legend. Then he was saying, like, they were interviewing him in Chicago, and he was just like, yeah, I was like in the bathroom, and then I went to go sit down, and then they called my name. It's pretty cool. I was with my family. Just a cool guy.
Oh yeah, and the more I read about Kanserov, the more I think this guy could be a winger, and like just that could.
He's got speed. He's got good pocket. Like nothing elite. Like that's maybe a middle 6 guy, but yeah,
I'm not saying he's top line. I'm saying like, dude, if that's a guy who could play in your 2nd or 3rd line and put up 20 goals a year, like that's what you need, especially when they need to start filling out this roster because they're about that like. I think one more draft of like a top 10 pick forward, and like they're going to have the high end talent they need. They're just going to need stuff to fill out the roster at that point, which is easier to find, granted, but never hurts to have too many good players. So, I mean, look at Buffalo's prospect pool right now. They probably have, I'm not even bullshitting. They probably have 15 forwards that they could roll in about 2 years. And they're going to have to make some decisions, granted, but like, it's pretty easy. It's called Victor.
They call them one of the decisions. Yeah,
exactly. But I hope we get those we have those good decisions come up in like 3 years.
I was gonna say if the Blackhawks can be that in like 3, like in the first year of Connor, but like Bedard's 2nd contract, that's what we're aiming for.
Because like if they can get one more top end forward next draft, like that's like they can get like a Demidov or. Like an Yzerman.
I haven't looked at next year's class.
Dude, I've been looking at the top 10 a little, and it's like, dude, this kid Demidov is just fucking like he's not a bullet train, he's a freight train. Like, and I just feel like that type of game would fit so well with the amount of speed that they're developing in this prospect pool right now. Because they're gonna get to the point where they can get creative with their next picks. Like they have so much speed right now. They're probably gonna have to draft a power forward eventually. But It'll definitely be like I don't know, man. There's just so many good ways this could go with the prospect pool because they're drafting almost the complete opposite of the last regime in terms of like what they see in players.
They got type speed, and if you got size with speed, that's a bonus.
Yeah,
because like they did draft smaller guys. Like Oliver Moore is not a big guy; he's like 5'11".
Kanserov's 5'9". I'm pretty sure.
Kanserov is like 5'9", 5'10". Like Nick Lardis, I don't think is a big guy either. I really like
they're perimeter players, but
I really like the Nick Lardis pick because I think he just turned 18, and then he got traded I think from Peterborough to Hamilton, and he just like took off.
He was like over 1.5 a game or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see like what he does next year because I think he's going to have a big output. So yeah, Peterborough Pete's first 36 games there, 12 goals, 7 assists, 19 points. Yeah, But then he got traded to Hamilton. 33 games, less games than what he played in Peterborough. Doubled his goal amounts, had 25 goals. Tripled his assist amount, had 21. And then over doubled his point total, 46 points in 33 games.
Just insanity. Like I'm really hoping that second half is what we see next year. And if that's the case, like, oh man, they'll have a gem in their prospect pool. That's not just one of their top picks. Like I was surprised. I looked at one of the prospect rankings for our system, and they had Kaiser still ranked pretty high, which be interesting to see what they do with him at the NHL level next year. But like, if we can have another Kaiser on our hands of a guy coming from the third round being a contributor potentially, that's going to be great. And you, like you said, Lardis has that upside. Like after watching some of that tape of him in Hamilton, holy smokes! If you put him with one of those centers that we have now, he's probably going to light it up, I would think.
Yeah, good draft. Like, I thought you can be like, Aaron, they should have drafted blah 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 blah. You got Bedard, you got more. Like, it's past the second round. Like, they can draft whoever the hell they want.
Yeah.
The thing they've done, they've earned the benefit of the doubt. They have a type they go after, so we know if they draft them, like, you know, they're probably going to be speedy and work their ass off. And if they're big, they're big. That's cool. So yeah, another great draft, and yeah. I don't know if we have anything else.
They had a couple things happen day 2. They made a couple.
Oh
trades.
yeah,
More draft capital. They traded one of their seconds back, so they have 3 seconds this year now coming up. But also, I think if you want to get into this, Pierce, they made a very interesting trade the morning of
trade
day 2.
that Blackhawks fans loved. But before
Josh Bailey,
yeah, Blackhawks legend Josh Bailey.
Ugh.
So before we get into that. Yeah, that draft is done. They had a great draft last year. They had a great draft this year. Next year, they still have 2 first-round picks. They have 3 seconds, 3 third-round picks. Oh, but they don't have a 4th. It's over.
It's Joe.
Fire Davidson and
year,
no 7 and no 7.
They got the 6th back this year.
That's right. Everything is redeemed now. Everything is good. 2025, 2 first, 2 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, no 5th. Boo.
Boom.
A 6th and a 7th. 2026, oh no, only a first-round pick. 2 third-round picks, a third, 2 fourths, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. They still got 5 first-round picks over the next 3 years. They got 8 second-round picks over the next 3 years.
And they'll get to and hopefully this team will get to the point eventually to where like in those seconds will be used on the line to go acquire stuff for the team. Because they'll have enough draft capital where they can do some stuff like that.
Well, that's why I saw people being, why would they trade for a draft pick 3 years from now? Because yes, it's nice to have draft picks this year. I think they'd still drafted like 10, 11 players or something. You can't have all those players. Like, you can't just have one draft where you draft like 15 players and then the next team only have 7. Spread it out. Not everyone's gonna, not gonna make it. Like, you can't just have all these guys in your system at once. You gotta spread things out a little bit, and that kind of goes to the NHL level too. I think they're gonna play Korchinski for more than 9 games because they want to burn the ELCs and not have all of them, come out at once. So, for anyone questioning that, like, I think that's a good thing.
It's so much better for what they want to do contract wise too. Because think of Lucas Reichel, for instance. Like, yeah, 2 years ago, I probably would have looked at you and been like, "Why did they do that?" Like.
Oh, granted, I did too. Yeah.
Granted, the Hawks were at a completely different spot 2 years ago. So, like, it's like, why would you waste a year of ELC when you're probably going to be up against the cap, blah, blah, blah. Well, that could change in 2 years. But 24 months later, it's like, well, if he has a good year this year, they can lock him up for 6 years if they want to. If not, I think he's got 4 years of RFA till he's a UFA. You could sign him to a really good bridge deal that will take him to where you could basically lock him up for all of his UFA years. Like, they're gonna have a lot of flexibility with this player if he just has a good year or if he has a subpar year. Who knows? I'm hoping it's on the higher end because he playing with nothing, he showed he could do something. So I'm very interested to see what he could do with a guy like Bedard and players like Taylor Hall. And yeah, like you said, it's contract flexibility. So like with Korchinski, yeah, what if they take the Yoki Haru route with him, where he plays till the World Juniors, plays the World Juniors, and then goes back to junior? That's probably fine, honestly. And also, it's just another reason to hate that rule where 19 and 20-year-olds can't go to the AHL.
It's so stupid. Like,
they're actually like
doesn't make
curbing
sense.
developments.
No, like I get if you're a 19-year-old and you're like a third round pick and maybe like missed like had injuries in junior and clearly need another year in the CHL or wherever junior league you're playing. Europe it's different, but Kevin Korchinski, like I don't think he's good enough for the NHL right now, but I also think he's a little too good for the CHL right now. I think the AHL is that good medium, but obviously he turned 19 in June, so he can't play in the AHL for another year. So I feel there should be a thing where you can like make an agreement where okay, I'm sending him to the AHL, my 19-year-old rookie to the AHL. But obviously the CHL is like, oh, we want to at least have these superstar players till we're 20, which I understand, but also
You're hindering developments at that point. Because like, look at Shane Wright. Shane Wright, if he can't make
he
the
might
team out
be
of
like
this
the
year,
poster child of what's been happening because he missed a year because of COVID. Like he was probably too good for the CHL, but he should have played in the AHL. He was not good enough for the NHL.
and if he can't make the team out of camp this year, I'm pretty sure he has to go back to the CHL, which is
because he doesn't turn 20 till January, which is stupid.
He does not need to go there anymore.
But if you're born December 31st, oh, no problem.
It's such a silly league, man. It's such a silly league. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the Josh Bailey trade happened. They bought him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that was just a good favor.
Then the polarizing trade happened, which I think.
What do you mean? I think all Blackhawks fans loved it.
I think all of them had a level-headed approach to this for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, so the Blackhawks trade for
a 2024 seventh round pick for Corey Perry.
I wanted that seventh too. He could have been the next Andreas Janssen. Oh well.
And then signed him to the Nick Foligno special of 1 year and 4
Let's go. But I mean, Corey, like I would much rather have a guy like Corey Perry on my team than not on my team, especially when we have, like Reagan said, a very good kid coming up. I'd rather just have all the goons on our team. So,
like I said, it's better to have him now before he's on a different team and he cheap shots Bedard and takes him out for a couple weeks.
See, thinking ahead, I like it. But I don't mind Perry, honestly. He'll be fine. He'll get power play.
He's still, again, like we said this about Nick Foligno. Yeah, they're not what they used to be. Like Corey Perry's not the 50-goal Hart winner, Stanley Cup champion, but like he's still a guy who's a pain in the ass to play against. Brings that leadership, and is probably going to score 10, 15 goals. Probably going to be in that front presence on the power play, screening goals, tipping pucks for Bedard. So I don't know. Again, $4 million for 1 year. If they really want to trade him, they can trade him. There's going to be teams that probably would like Corey Perry, and kind of bringing up like how young Connor Bedard is and how long Corey Perry has been around for. Corey Perry got drafted in 2003, 2 years before Connor Bedard was even born. I think I saw he's headed into his 19th season of NHL player, which is fucking crazy. So when Corey Perry came in, when he won that Stanley Cup with Anaheim back in 2007, like he was playing with guys like Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer, Teemu Solani, and now almost 20 years later, 15, almost 20 years later, he's playing with Connor Bedard. So it's crazy how, you know, like a player from like 20 years ago, like he played with this guy, he retired. Like, I forget what they call that. It's like I don't know, like degrees of separate or whatever they call it. But this is going to be a guy, again, leader in your locker room. It's going to, if anyone tries to do shit with Connor Bedard, you bet your ass like Corey Perry's going to be there fighting that guy, the exact neck shift, shoving him, like doing whatever he can to do under his skin. It always works because it's Corey Perry. But
Perry's the kind of guy you absolutely hate unless he's on your team.
Oh, it's like him, Marchand. Like, hate both of them, but like being a Canadian, they're both Canadian when they're on Team Canada. It's like, all right, I'll put up with you. And then now he's on the Blackhawks. It's like, all right, well, I'll put up with you. Put up with the act. But yeah. And he wants to be here too. Otherwise, he wouldn't sign up because he was a UFA. Same with Nick Foligno. But also, I think getting $4 million probably at least more than double what you're worth. That probably helped a little bit. I would think sway things.
100%. And when you have $40 million in cap, you can do that.
They still have like $13 million in cap space.
They're still out there. Like they could still take on a contract if needed, and if the situation presents itself to where they could get some good assets for it, which I think is what they're waiting on now.
Yeah, because they did that. They did that last year. They got Jason Dickinson, which is still not even that
Dude,
horrible.
they got a
contract,
second for
and a
taking on
second-round
Dickinson.
pick. Yeah.
Oh, shout out the Canucks. I hope they stink this year, so that pick's good.
There's probably a good chance they will because
Dude, and then they traded Stillman. Like, what the heck? Now Stillman's in Buffalo, I'm pretty sure.
because even though they got OEL, they got like Ian Cole and Carson Soucy to replace them. Like they just never learned. But yeah, that was that was the pretty much all the moves the Blackhawks made. They also signed Ryan Donato, which again just kind of fits their MO. I think he had like 10 goals, 10 assists for the Kraken last year. He's going to be playing a bigger role with the Blackhawks this year. Like, can play any position. He can play up and down the lineup. It's only for 2 years, only $2 million. Like, and he's going to be 28. Like, it's not like he's old or anything. Yeah, last year, 14 goals, 13 assists, 27 points. That could be something. If you can do that again, Chicago, they'll be much welcomed.
Also, shout out Frank Nazar. He's got 2 goals tonight.
There you go.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it for the Blackhawks. Like,
What? We didn't even talk about Ryan Donato.
we just did.
Well, we're gonna talk about him
What?
again.
We just love Ryan Donato so much. We gotta bring him up. U.S. Olympian Ryan Donato. I remember that.
To be fair, when I heard the point totals, they sound exactly the same as Foligno's almost. So like, it threw me off for a second because they all have around like 25 to 30 points.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like Donato. Like he's gonna fit in the middle six quite nicely. That's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. So yeah. Other stuff happened around the NHL too. Some trades happened, some free agents signings happened, and what Pierre-Luc Dubois to the LA Kings. I'm actually surprised that the Jets got as much for Dubois as they did, because everything we heard was like, oh, he's going to go to Montreal and we're going to get nothing back for him. And, they're going to get like Josh Anderson, Pierre-Luc Dubois, 1-for-1. But then they actually got a pretty good haul for him. It was a legitimate sign and trade. The Jets signed him, I think, 8.5, like 68 million over 8 years, which good for Dubois. That's a hell of a contract payday. Mm-hmm. But the Jets got back like Velarde, Iafallo, and Rasmus Kupari. That's like a whole line right there. That's like a second, maybe third line for Pierre-Luc Dubois, who wasn't going to be there anyways. I think they got like a draft pick too. I don't know. LA. Yeah, you got a nasty center core. They do have a lot of centers, so I guess they could have afforded to move Velarde, Iafallo, and those guys out. Like Dubois, Kopitar, and Danault is fucking nasty. And like Byfield is still there. Like, oh no, if one of them gets injured, you might have to shift Byfield to center. But yeah, LA. No. I don't know if that was. I think they gave up a little too much, but I think Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to be a great fit in LA. It might just be a win-win for both teams.
They didn't have to give up a first.
No.
Honestly, besides Velarde, I think the rest of the pieces they gave up were somewhat replaceable. It just depends. Like Velarde had a really good year last year, but like, let's just see if he can continue it. But from the Jets' perspective, who wanted to get hockey players back or like roster players back, they wanted this to be a hockey trade, not just getting like picks and prospects. They, like you said, they came out gangbusters in this one, I think, and they still got some draft capital out of it. Like, if the Jets can just find a way to like get that defense sorted out, like they probably shouldn't be a bad hockey team next year, unless they continue to make trades, obviously. But for having little to no leverage, it seemed like you said they came out very well in that trade. I'd say.
Surprised by that. Next trade, Tyler Toffoli to the Devils, just an absolute fleecing by the Devils. Like, I don't know what the hell Craig Conroy is doing in there. Craig Conman, because he is just robbing the Flames. Ha ha ha. But I know that was fucking horrible. Just like Craig Conroy at his job. AO, but yeah, what was it? Sharon Govich and like a third really? For Tyler Toffoli, who had like almost 40 goals and 70. When I saw that, I was surprised. Like, I thought he had like maybe, I don't know, 25, 30 or 30 and 30, like, which is still great for the contract he has, but almost point per game, almost 40 goals. Like 1 year left. Like, you might as well have just waited for like the trade deadline. You probably could have got more from, I don't know. Like, the fact they couldn't even get they didn't even get like a second round pick. You got a third round pick in Sharon Govich. Sharon Govich might be like, I don't know, third line guy. I think he's
Dominic Kubalik. Like, that's
yeah, but for that, the value that Toffoli had, great trade for the Devils. They just keep adding. They're going to be a problem. But Calgary, oh man, they're stuck in mid. And then there was that one day where everyone was like, I don't know if I'm going to be part of the Flames anymore. Like everyone's like, no, I'm not re-signing Calgary. Michael Backlund, I think, has a 1 year left. He's like, I don't know if I want to be in Calgary. Like, I still got to like. Ugh.
He's like, I'm peacing out.
Yeah, after a year after, like, Gaudreau and Kachuk fucked off.
Yeah, it's not a great situation in Calgary right now, and I think they're lucky that they made that trade when they did, because I think people kind of forgot about it that aren't Flames and Devils fans. But once the trading camp rolls around and people realize that Tyler Toffoli is a Devil, I don't think it's set in with a lot of people yet. Like, once you see him playing with Jack Hughes, like,
yeah,
it's going to be a problem.
Hughes until Toffoli might score 40 goals. Like, he scored almost 40 goals with whoever the hell he was playing, like Lindholm.
Dude, he's playing with one of Heishier or Hughes. Like, it's going to be
he's scoring 40.
And then in worst case scenario, we might play with Mercer on the third line. Like, give me a
oh
Devils
no!
Are gonna be good, dude. Devils are gonna be good. And the Flames are gonna be probably
oh no, our hitting didn't work enough.
Picking 8th overall next year. That would be
they're gonna be picking like 13th. Just like they did.
Markstrom's gonna have a resurgence just to screw him over.
Yeah. Just so they don't get any offense. Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, they're gonna have a guy.
It's like, literally the Flames of like 10, 15 years ago. Where they had Mika Kiprusoff. His number retired, by the way, where they got great goaltending, but they have no one else. Well, they had Jerome McGinley, but they had nothing else other than that.
Well, who's gonna be the Jerome McGinley? Matt Coronado?
There you go.
I don't know. They're in a tough spot, to say the least. They're in a tough spot.
And they're in a division with their provincial rivals, the Oilers, who are better than them, the team that just won the Stanley Cup, the Kraken, who are going to be better, the Kings are going to be, yeah, it's a
tough
spot.
It's tough. And, like, they're not in a position to bottom out either. That's the problem.
No.
Like, they just signed Huberdeau and Kadri to 8-year deals or 7-8-year deals or whatever.
No, they can't unload those guys either.
Like, Uyghur just got locked up. Like, you gotta. From that perspective, maybe I get why he tried to just get like a roster player in return.
I guess,
man,
still a bad trade.
It's a bad trade. Like, come on, get a better roster player than that,
or get like a second round pick and a third. I don't know. Not that the value.
Go trade with the Jets. Like,
yeah.
There's got to be some world where you can get like Mark Scheifele for Lindholm and then extend Scheifele. Like, I don't know. Get creative. That's what I say to Craig Conroy.
Jonathan Huberdeau, 8 years. Contract just starting, no movement clause.
Oh my god, it's just starting.
6 years left, no movement clause. He is 32 years old, so that contract will be done when he is 38. Andrea, okay, the rest are NTCs. You can probably work around that. Mackenzie Weegar, 8 years left, no trade clause. And Jacob Markstrom, even if they wanted to move him, he has a no movement clause.
He's got like 4 years left, right?
He has 3 years left.
All right, it's not that bad, but it's still bad. Yeah, I don't want to be that GM right now.
And they have Nikita Zadorov and Jordan Oster on their defense.
Man,
remember those
that's
guys?
Exactly what I want to be is the 2018 to 2020 Blackhawks. Oh my gosh, jeez, it's so funny too because like Zadorov's not even that bad. It's just like your team is so mid.
And they are the definition of mid. Like they're not bad enough to bottom out, but they're not enough to make.
They're not even close to bad enough to bottoming out. Like there's a very realistic world where this team makes the playoffs next year and no one bats an eye. Like
no,
but Will it happen? Probably not.
It's like the Toy Story thing with the 8-ball. Don't count on it.
Ah! Frank Conroy looking at the roster.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan Huberdeau get 117 points. Don't count on it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, Jonathan Huberdeau will
really
double his
funny.
points from last year. Don't count on it because
Oh.
I saw something where I forget if he might have even been number one, where Jonathan Huberdeau in a full 82 game season had the biggest point like decrease in NHL history. He was either like number one or right close to. Like his point production was cut in half. I'm pretty sure right down the middle.
I mean, granted, he had a bunch of points last year. Like, it's expected to have some regression, but like he didn't even crack.
So he'll probably get back to like 85, 90 points.
How many points did he have last year? Like 50?
55 points. When the year before he had 100, he went down 60 points.
He went down a Dylan Secure. That's insane.
He went down wait. No, he did not. He did not go down 20 goals and 40 assists.
Oh, he didn't have that many goals, I know.
He went down 15 goals though, and he went down 45 assists.
Oh my God. Like, it's just like, I guess it just shows how good that Panthers team was 2 years ago, but like, man, that's tough.
That's hockey in a nutshell.
They had the Flames had the best 5-on-5 line ever, like 2 years ago. And two of them are gone. One of them almost won a cup. The other got Adam Fantilli, so there's that. But yeah, Flames are not.
Surely the Ducks, right? We're talking about the Anaheim Ducks.
Surely the Ducks, who aren't trying to lowball Troy Terry in their arbitration.
Oh
right
my
now.
God! Oh
Dude, that's the
my
only
God.
newsworthy thing coming out right now. The fact that the Ducks really thought they were going to go into this arbitration meeting saying, "Yeah, we're going to offer him less than what we gave Ryan Strome." You are out of your effing mind. You are out of your effing mind. Troy Terry has every right to go $8 million. Like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Like I wouldn't flip out about it too much if you don't look at what the money that Anaheim shelled out the last 2 years. Like, give me a break. You're gonna give Killorn $7 million or something like that, 6.25 for 4 years, but you can't pay Troy Terry. Give me a break. Oh my God, I can't imagine what those Zegras contract talks are like right now. Zegras is like, yeah, I want to get paid like a star because I am. They're like, how's 5 times 2 now? It's like, how about I walk in 3 years and then we'll go from there. Sorry, that like I had to talk about the Troy Terry thing. That's like that arbitration hearing is insanity.
Like arbitration, that's the whole point. Like is like we saw the Samsonov thing where it's like he wants almost $4 million or whatever it was, and then the Leafs or no, he won almost like $5 million, and the Leafs wanted like 2.5, and he like settled somewhere in the middle where it's like 3.65 or whatever.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. Like that happens. I just found it funny well, like for someone like Troy Terry, 4.5 to 8. Like again, it's probably gonna come somewhere in the middle. What, like 6?
I would have just given the guy 7. Like, is it really like? Are you guys that like money strapped? Like, you have $30 million cap. Like that has to be an internal cap thing at that point. That has to be like Anaheim doesn't have enough money to pay him. That's the only thing I can think of. Because like.
Oh, and with all the young people coming up, that's a great thing to hear from your owners.
Yeah, totally. When you still have to pay Drysdale. Well, Drysdale you can bridge small, but like Trevor Zegras is going to get paid a pretty decent amount, even if you bridge him. Like even if they're going to bridge Zegras, it would not surprise me if he gets like the Braden Point or Alex DeBrincat bridge, where it's like in the $7 million range for 3 years. And if he does that, then he might just tell you to F off in 3 years. Like, we're probably going to see that with Elias Pettersson this year, for being honest. Like, that guy's.
Oh, I need that to happen.
Man. Maybe you should have signed him to 6 years like you signed Hughes to 6 years. I don't know. Oh, wait, they didn't have cap space. That's right.
Or, yeah,
Jim Benning.
Or, not trade like Dylan Gunther for Connor Garland and OEL, who are. OEL is now bought out, and
Connor Garland's made.
All you had to do, as bad as like Louis Eriksson, JB, and all those players were, all you had to do was wait out one more year, and you would have been financially fine. But now you got like OEL on the books for like another 5 years. Oh,
God. Nope. They're not good.
This really like last year and whatnot has like shown me like, yeah, my team ain't great, but at least we're not them.
Like, at least there's a general direction, which that's more than you could say for at least 10 teams in this league right now.
Oh, at least 10 teams. We could probably do like half the league right now.
Oh, yeah, I was just being generous. Like look at Nashville, dude. Like, we all thought Nashville was doing the right thing.
I like their draft, but what the fuck were they doing?
Like, okay, you flip Johansson, half retain. Smart.
Whatever.
I
Give him a
understand.
fresh start. I think that's just them doing a favor for him. If anything.
Buy out Duchesne, little crazy, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whatever. If that's the direction you're gonna go and they're gonna go full rebuild, fine. What did they do day one of free agency? Ryan O'Reilly 5x4. What is the direction with this hockey club, bro? And like you said, like I like their they got Matthew Wood and Melinda.
Tyler Millett, who
Good picks.
Pecorino couldn't say his name either, so I get that.
Oh, that's
Or Romaniosi, one of those two. Yeah.
But
yeah, they gave Ryan O'Reilly money, Gus Nyquist,
Luke Shen.
Luke Shen. That's right. 3 years for Luke Shen. And
yeah, they made some interesting decisions to say the least. They tried to move up to get Hitchcock, which I guess. But
I find it so funny that like what they thought was going to fix their center core, Matt Duchene and Kyle Turris, are bought out and on their books for 6 years. So Kyle Turris, another 5 years at $2 million. Matt Duchene has another 6 years on the book. 2.5 this year, 5.5 next year, 6.5 the year afterwards, 1.5, 1.5.
Dude, it's so great that like when the Hawks are probably going to start being good, these teams are going to have all this dead weight on their cap. This is
Not
great.
just the Predators, Minnesota Wild too.
I got to imagine St. Louis is going to have one of those buyouts coming with those 8-year deals that they signed 3 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
Like they already tried to move Krug and Krug told him to F off. So like,
yeah, I'm not going to Philadelphia. I'm not playing for John Toro.
Which like, can you blame the guy? Like
that might have been the most anticlimactic thing. We're like, oh, Philadelphia's gonna get Krug and like Sanheim's gonna go back, and then like 3 days later, oh, Kevin Hayes is going to the Blues for like a 6th round pick.
It's like you guys,
which is really the offseason in a nutshell. There was so much like talk and hype, and like a few things happen. Like,
always chatter.
Yeah, but a lot of tire kicking, but not actual trades.
Tire kicking. Give me a break. It's whatever though. I'm cool with it because honestly, like last year's was hectic. Like it was hectic for us. Like it was like a heart attack. Like that was a lot. Like ups and downs. Like that was insane.
Last year like it was hectic because our team was involved in it. But like this year we could relax a little bit, even though it wasn't as crazy. But like our team didn't make any stupid trades. Like I want to kill myself.
Like obviously there was the thought in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, he's gonna fuck up the pick. But then like once like all the reporters are coming out, it's like, well, the draft starts at 2 this year. It's like, okay, we're good. We can.
Oh wait, no, there was no way they were ever gonna fuck up. That was never in the back. I was more concerned maybe pick 19, but like we know they've earned that drafting brat like that. They've earned the benefit
drafts. They've earned the benefit of the doubt for sure. For sure.
And like as soon as they got to 19, Oliver Moore's, I'm like, dude, there's no way they don't pick them. That just fits their MO.
Nazar point totals up to 3 points now.
Let's go.
He's fucking
Not only so the Blackhawks got players to help them better. Not only that, like they got Hall, they got Foligno, they got Perry, they got Donald, yada yada yada. They might add another right-hand defenseman. I wonder if they like look at adding Matthew Dumba because I forgot he was still even a free agent. I wonder if they maybe give him like a 1-year deal and be like, okay, you can play. Maybe you get some points on the power play with McDavid and then we trade you. I don't know, but just a thought.
I wouldn't mind that. My whole thing though is they might pull the Tenorti route again and pick someone.
That was another
because someone's gonna get put on waivers. There's way too many rosters they got like 9 defensemen or NHL defensemen. Like someone's gonna fall through. Like even if it's not even that good of a defenseman. Like we didn't think Tenorti was like all that.
No, he's really still not that great. But again, like he's more so like a locker room guy.
Listen, from everything I read before he broke his jaw, he actually was pretty good. So, like analytically speaking.
Are the analytics nerds right?
Dude, the hockey guy on YouTube was like clamoring for him. He was like, "Yeah, it's his best year in 5 years." I was like, "What the hell?" Like,
yeah, he is good. You know what?
Hey, listen, if Tenorti's on the third pair, I don't care. Like, that's the guy I want Alex Vlasic to learn from a little bit because. I think Alex Vlasic's going to get a good bit of games this year.
Jared Tenorti is literally, I guide others to a treasure that I can't possess myself, like a former first-round pick. I will give Vlasic, make sure Vlasic the guy I was not.
I fucking love it, dude. Oh my gosh.
Didn't Luke Richardson call him like he could be a bouncer?
Yeah,
fuck people up.
dude, that's
Yeah.
what I want on my hockey team when I have a
Yeah.
Connor Bedard. Like, come
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
Like he's like our good Branson, except we're not paying him $4 million.
4
for
times
4 years.
4. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
and to be honest, we kind of made fun of them for the Gabranson deal, but we kind of signed a bunch of Gabransons.
Yeah,
Granted,
but not
they're-
for 4
yeah,
years though.
granted, there's no term. There's no term.
Yeah, we signed him for 4 million, but not for 4
Yeah,
years.
not times 4. But like even then, like if we gave that deal to Gudis this offseason, I dead ass wouldn't have been mad probably. Because like we could afford some bullshit deal like that at this point.
Yeah.
Until Bedard's next deal kicks in, then that's when shit's gonna get tight. But,
Yeah, the Blackhawks don't have a bullshit deal on their books right now. Like,
Seth Jones.
he is the worst contract in the NHL.
Oh my god, give it.
Is it a good
rest,
contract?
dude.
No, but like they need that contract now because if they didn't, yeah,
It's just like so dumb from both sides of the perspective because it's like the analytics community will defend him, but they won't defend the long term like probability of the contract, which is obviously understandable. It goes till 2030. But like the eye test community will just be like, well, he was like a minus 31, and that's just not good enough. And it's just like, all right, guys.
That's the problem with the Seth Jones thing. It's like both ends extreme. There's no like in the middle. Okay, maybe he's not worth 9.5, but he's probably still a top pairing guy,
Bro, if he
He's
made
not-
7.5, no one would care. Like I
No,
promise
no.
you.
Even 8 million, like okay.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
If he made $8 million, no one would care. But he makes
But
more.
the fact
than
he's making almost 10 million, and
he's making the same amount as Adam Fox. He's making more than Cale Makar, and that's all people see. And it's just like I don't know what to tell you. Cale Makar is gonna walk.
Whereas like Seth Jones signed this as a UFA, those guys signed it as RFAs. They're probably gonna get like Kyle McCarr's gonna get like
Cale Makar's gonna get 12 mil.
He's gonna get the
McDavid.
McDavid. He's gonna get the McDavid contract at least when he's a UFA.
Oh, he's gonna be the first to reshake the market for defensemen. Well, actually, if we're being honest, Dahlin's got a real good shot of doing that right now whenever he signs that extension. But like Makar gets up before like Fox and all them and Heiskanen, so he's gonna be the first guy to set that UFA contract in 3 years. Or when's Makar up? 4 years, I think.
I think he signed 6 years.
Well, no,
So
I think we're 2 years through the 6 years, is what I'm saying. Like, unless
he has. Wow, he's already gone 2 years through that. I remember when he signed it. Yeah, 4 years left.
but he's a UFA at the end of that, so like, that's gonna set the market, man. Like,
He might get 15 million. Like depending.
If the cap goes up.
Yeah, I want to see what year the cap really explodes because we keep hearing, the cap might go up in a few years, and all the escrow's paid off, all that bullshit, blah 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 blah. I wonder what year it'll be though. Like, is there a timeline, like an exact year, or is there like a rough timeline? Okay, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, maybe it goes up because we saw a lot of players taking shorter contracts. Like I remember the first one, I saw him like Gavrikov. I remember they were like, "Oh, he wants 6 times 6," and I think he got like 6 million, but only for 2 years.
Domi and Bertuzzi signed 1 year deals.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bertuzzi was the biggest one because everyone kind of assumed.
Oh no, it was like 6 times 6 probably, but you didn't get that.
Yeah, and for one, I thought Boston was going to give it to him, but
Hell, he might get that after this season when he plays with Matthews and all that. But
dude, they should just glue him to Matthews and Marner, honestly, or put Domi with him, or if they want to put Matt
Domi and Bertuzzi, yeah, have fun with that.
Dude, put Domi, Bertuzzi, and Tavares together. That would be the most annoying line ever to go up against. Because, like, I don't know. I just think that line would just
Former
be...
London Knights, Max Domi, and John Tavares, and then you put Magic Mitchie Marner on that line. It's a full London Knights.
He plays on like...
He did the Gwitty at his wedding. Didn't you see that?
I wish Rose was here to react to that.
We love NHL offside. No, Rose actually has a job now, unlike us and unemployed people. But anyways, yeah, I had a tough time this morning. I'm like, oh, do I play Fortnite the whole time or do I actually have breakfast? I don't know, guys.
I didn't, and then I ended up contemplating that till dinner. So then I had my 3 o'clock meal. Oh gosh.
But yeah. Yeah. I don't know where to go from that.
No, but like the UFA market was like pretty generic this offseason. Like Killorn got paid, Gudis got paid.
The one contract where I was like, what the fuck was that Miles Wood contract in Colorado? I actually I like what Colorado did this offseason. I like how they pretty much revamped their center core by getting Johansson. Like, I think he's a good bet to bounce back. Ryan Johansson at $8 million, hell no. Ryan Johansson at $4 million in Colorado, fuck yes. Like, Ross Colton as the third line center. Like, I like what Colorado did. I think they're gonna bounce. Like, they still have what, like 50 wins. I think they're gonna bounce back though, and maybe have a deeper playoff run than this year.
They just gotta stay healthy. They
And
don't.
not play those damn Kraken.
Oh my god, yeah! Don't have Oliver Bjorkstrand go berserk in Game 7.
Don't face Philip Grubauer. There you go.
I thought one under the radar signing. Speaking of him earlier, was Duchesne to Dallas for 1 year, or was it 2 years?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No, I think it was just one. Yeah.
But like that's a guy who's gonna be very good depth for that middle six. Like imagine like he's basically gonna take the Domi role in the playoffs. Or they might put him a little higher in the lineup. Like I know he's got chemistry with some of those guys. They all played in Canada together. So should be interesting to say the least. Dallas is gonna be good again next year. That's like one of these years they're gonna find a way to get over the hump. And
yeah, and then they're gonna have Stinky Oven come up, and
Harley already looks like he's a player, dude.
Yeah,
like, oh
they're.
Dwight Johnston's probably gonna get like 30 goals next year. Like, this team.
Jake Onger's like 25. Yeah,
it's gonna be us, them, in Colorado in 3 years. Like that's what it's.
You know what?
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I know. Bring it on, dude. We got a world beater on our team now. I'm ready to go. Like
it's like everyone in the Central besides like St. Louis has like a good goalie, and it's just like
it fucking should be sit with Jordan Binnington.
we'll just get the best goal scorer to come out of the draft in like the past 10 years or whatever, 15 years, whatever.
Hell yeah, brother.
And then hopefully one of Camesso, Guyan, and Soderblom like become a decent goalie.
It's gonna be Jackson Stauber.
Hell yeah!
Stauber does have some crazy ones under his belt, though.
That win in St. Louis went fucking hard, and like the fact that they celebrated like they won the cup, I just love that. Like they were popping champagne in the room and just going crazy.
Dude, that was when they had that dull streak where they won like 3 games in 20 games or something. Like it was bad. That's why I'm saying like you got to have good vibes guys on the team because you're gonna have times like that. And honestly, I hope they celebrate like that more this year because this should be.
I don't care how low things get. Like
just have
I'll
fun
never not
year.
celebrate a win against St. Louis.
Oh, dude, come on now. I still love watching this team win no matter what. Even when they were except for like the last 10 games last year, that was getting a little painful. But like if you could have shown me a crystal ball and said like, oh, they're still gonna get number 1, I wouldn't have cared. But like you don't know that at the time, and you're just like, dude, messing up this pick.
Yeah, this last year has like really showed me like what being a fan in sports is all about and how we handle things. Because as sports fans, we're such like prisoners of the moment. We react to what's in front of us, like with the Blackhawks. Like it's the polar opposite end. Like we want this team to lose to get as best odds as we can as possible. And sports, for whether that's for good or for worse, like it never works out the way you plan it to. Like who knows? Maybe the Blackhawks did get the worst odds. Well, they dropped to 3, but then the Blackhawks had third worst odds, or they go to 1. Like. Just all the mental games of being like, oh, if they lose this game, they have their best shot of winning, and like being in the moment, like fuck, like you could have lost that game in regulation to Philadelphia, but you lost it overtime. Like just that mental thing of being a fan as a hockey team that wants to lose, like that was just so. It was weird. Like you should never want your team to lose, but like it all worked out in the end. They got Connor Bedard, and then now like cheering for the Blue Jays, a team that I hope wins the World Series. Like they had an incredible April, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna win the division, they're gonna win the World Series, and then they just had a horrible May. And it's kind of balanced out a little bit. Like you go a few wins, and you're like, oh my god, this team is hot, and then you lose a few, and it's like, fuck, it's over. Like it's just the picture of the masculine urge to say we're back after saying it's over. Like. It's great. Like this year has like made me like past years like made me realize how like
Frank Nazar hat trick. Sorry,
let's go. Like the psyche of being a fan in sports. Like we all handled this year differently, but like at the end of the day, we want our Blackhawks to be the best version of themselves that they can, and they've done pretty much everything they can to do that. So, yeah. I don't know if we have anything else to add, or we can get on to football starting soon, because I know it's training right now. I think I saw Joe Burrow got like injured his calf or something, but it was like fake.
Yeah.
In other words, he won't play the preseason, which he probably wasn't going to do anyway.
Yeah.
Like This is the
Oh no,
worst
we
time of
might
year
be
for
more
football.
well rested. Like
This is the worst time of year for football though, because you just want your team to get out of training camp healthy. Because
Mhm.
there's always someone that goes down early.
that's
like,
with yeah. But football, I think it's different.
well, football, like they'll just cut you if you fucking hurt it bad enough.
Mhm.
Like straight up, like they won't pay to have you heal. So, like for some of these guys, you need to make or break it. If they get hurt, they're done.
They're
Like,
fucked.
That's
Yeah,
just how it works. So
that's
it's just
tough.
every time you hear someone go down, you're just like, damn it, this sucks. Like
Poor
they
guy. Yeah.
dude just got paid and he just went down for the year. Like the best example today, Tim Patrick, who tore his ACL last year, back in camp, tore his Achilles today.
Oh my
Jesus,
god.
dude.
Like just got back. Like it's just he's probably never gonna play again because they'll probably cut him now because they can't afford to. It's just a fucking grim league, dude. Sometimes. So I just hope everyone stays healthy through preseason.
Speaking of fucking injuries, Boba Shit had to leave the game early. I'm gonna kill myself if he is actually injured for long term. So hopefully that's nothing bad. Oh, boy.
Hopefully he just like drank too much water and got.
From what I saw, like I think he hit a like he was running the bases. He went from first to second, and, like held his leg or so. I hope and pray to God that is not a thing major. Otherwise, Tim Anderson, he's gonna make a great Toronto Blue Jay.
Sure. I mean, like the White Sox are just fire sailing. I really have checked out.
Yeah, I would probably do the same. That's rough. I thought
I just
when I
see
saw
if Felice Robert hit a home run, and that's
cool. That's all you can hope for. That would be like us with Bedard scoring goals this year. That's all we want. But yeah, I saw Giolito got traded. I'm like, I saw Los Angeles one. Yeah, he's going to the Dodgers. Like, I'm pretty sure he's from the area, and like Dodgers need a pitcher. And then I saw the Angel. I was like, oh, hang on. And then they got Reynaldo Lopez too. And then Giolito faced the Jays, and they beat them. They beat the Angels 2 out of 3 times.
Mhm.
And then I think the Angels made like another trade today. Like the thing with the Angels is like obviously the best scenario would be is if they actually built a good team around Ohtani and Trout and were like a consistent playoff team. The Angels have not made the playoffs since 2014, and they didn't even win a game that year, I don't think. So Mike Trout has never won a playoff game. He's only played in 3. I think they got swept by like Kansas City that year. And then Ohtani has never played in a playoff game, and they're going to keep him, which I almost kind of respect it. Like I respect the like the false like the delusion, I suppose, of them trying to go for it, but it's not going to work. But yeah, but when Ohtani hits free agency, it's gonna be so fun until the Dodgers like, oh, here's $600 million for like 15 years or whatever.
If you're going to the Dodgers, unless the Cubs like chalk up like almost a bill.
Could you imagine Blackhawks have Bedard and then now you got Ohtani with the Cubs? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be funny to see who takes the spotlight between like those 3.
It would still be Ohtani. Like
Yeah, it'd
Bedard
be
would be
Ohtani.
great, but Ohtani is literally an alien. Like he is a once in a lifetime
I
player.
don't think he comes to Chicago, but so I just like don't want to get my hopes up. But, like if yes, he does, I would not like be able to mentally handle having Bedard and Ohtani.
I don't think I can mentally handle like Cubs fans because they'll all just be extremely obnoxious again, and I don't like that. Not saying you do that, Reagan, because you definitely don't, but like I'm just in a family of very obnoxious Cub fans, so like they will not shut up about it if they get him. Which
Would you rather have obnoxious Cubs fans or would you rather have obnoxious Yankees or Dodgers fans if they?
Well, I've never really seen a legit Dodgers fan, so like we'll just go with that. Like,
yeah, I don't really
Yankees-
care for the Dodgers because they're not even in the AL.
As long as he's not a Yankee, I don't give a shit.
Oh, if he's a Yankee, I will give up everything and stop watching baseball.
Yeah, that'll be
Not that
it.
I think you would actually sign that because the Yankees are feeble and last in the AL East. LOL.
Pack it up. We're going to basketball.
But yeah, like, yeah, the White Sox traded away Giolito. They traded away someone else. I forget. They made quite a few moves, but then Texas like got Max Scherzer from the Mets, which LOL Mets, and then now they're talking about trading Verlander back to the Astros. Maybe that's so funny. And then the Jays got a guy who can throw like 105 miles per hour, so that's cool. Add him to their bullpen, which has been great all year. But if Bo Bichette is injured, one might kill myself. And 2, they gotta get an infielder. So once again, Tim Anderson, he might be a great Toronto Blue Jay.
Have fun with
If he's ever
that.
go long term. Yeah, I really hope Bo's not out because that will fuck things up.
Going
Well,
back to
yeah.
baseball really quick though. Do you guys see Jonathan Taylor once out of Indy?
I've seen all that.
He's got
Yeah.
so much leverage now
what's the
too.
issue
Because
there?
Oh,
well, running backs don't get paid, and he's been their bell cow for 3 years.
yeah.
And now the guy who was gonna be the number one if he was gonna sit out just broke his arm. So like Jonathan Taylor has the ball. Like he's gonna get paid in like 2 weeks is what I would imagine.
Yeah.
Or he's gonna get traded, one or the other. But
Or is
not
it
good for the
because
Colts.
he's not going to trade him? But I don't know. I don't have the biggest, like the most faith in Irsay.
I just don't know because like I don't know a team that's going to pay him. First of all, it should be the Colts that pay him because he's basically the heart of the offense.
Mhm.
But like, oh my gosh, like the Colts just got put in such a corner with Zach Moss breaking his arm because I don't. I'm pretty sure they don't have a good like. Who's the running back besides that on the roster right now? Like I genuinely don't.
Every
know.
time something like that happens to the Colts, it's always really fun and like interesting for me because I'm a Bears fan, but I live in Indianapolis, so just watching everybody else have like a complete mental breakdown over them, and I'm just like, I mean, I'm a Bears fan, so I'm always in pain, but
Yeah, it's numb me at this point. Like you think you have it bad? You got to see good quarterback play for 20 years. Like I don't want to hear it. And they want to reign. Like ugh.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I'm surprised you're not hearing all about like what are they saying about Anthony Richardson up there? Because I don't really hear much down in where I am. So
I haven't really heard much, to be honest. I think I mainly follow like Bears stuff on Twitter, but
true.
some people seem to be really excited about him. Like a lot of players already seem to be like kind of on his side, so we'll see, I guess.
And that's good. You always like to see them in their like in the players' corner.
Yeah. I did like binge like the entire like quarterback show that's on Netflix yesterday, and it's really good.
Mhm.
And I'm like so excited for football season, but also just like watching like what football players go through like every game. I'm like, I could never.
It's funny because like the guys they showed, like they actually have pretty good O-line, so they don't get hit as much. Like if they showed that with Fields and like all the shit he went through last year,
Or
got hit.
even.
Oh yeah, just like guys who have terrible O-lines and get sacked a bunch. Like I can't even imagine because like I felt bad for Kirk, but then like I thought about it and I was like, Kirk's O-line was like top 10 last year, so like he's getting hit, but like
not as often as like Fields was.
Oh my god, yeah. Ugh, whatever. I just really they need to protect that man this year. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'm going to the preseason game because the Bears play in Indy for the preseason this year.
Nice.
And like it sucks. It's like week 2, so it's like probably not really gonna get to see anybody. And like it feels
you'll get
like,
a drive.
I'm probably get like a driver too. But, like I'm not really gonna be able to like look at it and be like, we're gonna be good this year. It's gonna be like all the backups I get like cut like last week training camp.
It'll be good to see the rookies though.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, like they'll probably play right the whole game. They'll play like D tackles and Tyreek Stevenson, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
You'll get to find the next Jack Sanborn because that was who basically broke out of preseason last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, football season, fun stuff.
Go Joe Burrow! I got nothing else. I got nothing else to add.
I think that, like, what else we had to talk about?
So we talked about everything the Blackhawks did. We talked pretty much everything free agency. Why don't we talk about a bit about our actual trip? Like, we went to the draft. That was fun. That was like a last minute thing because originally we weren't going to go to the draft. We were just going to go to like the after party that the Blackhawks were having there. But then at the last minute, Dylan was like, "Oh, you get some tickets." Which, by the way, I still got to fucking pay for those. I'm so sorry. Like, I've had a lot of financial obligation, but I'll do that when I get paid on Thursday. Anyways,
it's all good.
But yeah, we were like, "Oh, let's go to the draft," because I think there was what seven of us there, and then 8 once Connor came.
Yeah,
so there were 7 of us. I think Zach, Will, and Rose had tickets, but then the other 4 of us, Ben, you, I, and Nick, we didn't have them. And then you got the 4 tickets, and then we went there, and obviously it was a great time. I'm glad we went. It must have been At worst, it might have been a third Blackhawks fans there. It might have been close to half. It might have been half. There was a lot. It was a good showing.
Dude, Nazar's got 4 goals. Holy shit.
Damn.
4 goals and an assist. Oh my God. Chris Peters is like, that's his 3rd tweet about Nazar tonight. Holy smokes. I think they're up like 10-1 in this game. Like they're beating the crap out of us.
Isn't it just the World Junior Showcase or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't think it's at the Holinka.
No, it's just the showcase, but they're playing Sweden and they're like it's 10-1. Jesus. Oh God. Shout out. I was just gonna say shout out Wally with the Chicago Prospects page because they're like all over it with.
So that's the point I wanted to make earlier. So yeah, we're getting Connor Bedard playing this season. We're probably going to see Kevin Korchinski. Lucas Reichel's going to be on the team the full year. Like, I'd be surprised if he got sent down again.
He's not getting sent down.
Up and down like a yo-yo for what seems the past 2 years now. He's going to be on the team regular. And I think he could get like maybe 40-plus point again. You don't want to put ridiculous expectations of this, but I think he'll have a decent season. But you're going to have Bedard on the team. You're going to have Korchinski. You're going to have Reichel. There's probably going to be some other guys that step up. Like Cole Gutman might have a full role on this team this year. We don't know. White Kaiser's going to get minutes. Alex Vlasic's going to get minutes. Frank Nazar goes off like he's going off right now. It's a good year. There's a good chance that he gets signed by like end of March, play a few games before the end of the season, burn 1 year of the contract. I do not care. If we get to see Frankie play in a Hawks jersey by the end of the year, oh my God.
From what like all the prospect guys and all like the analysts and stuff, they're all predicting he signs after the season in Michigan. They think like, especially with Fantilli leaving, dude, this guy's going to get a huge role. Minutes.
Yeah.
Time minutes. And there's still some really good players there. McGroarty's still there. Like they got guys coming up. Like obviously they won't have Luke Hughes on the team anymore, but like
they still have a pretty good team. I'm pretty sure
they got a solid team. And if anything, he could be their bell cow, which would be awesome. Because like all I want to see at the end of the year is like Michigan plays Minnesota and it's Moore versus Nazar top line centers going at it or something. Like that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my tie line, Bo Bichette injury, and then Frank Nazar.
The duality of man.
Duality sports fan. Like I've wanted Frank Nazar 4 goals, but at what cost? Bo Bichette injury. God, I really hope it's not.
Dude, Nazar 4 goals makes me so happy though. Like I needed it. I just wanted to see him come back guns a blazing after the hip.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he's.
And that's a good sign.
I think he's gonna have a monster year in Michigan.
So.
I think he will. I'm confident he will. Yeah, but kind of back to Nashville. Yeah, we had a fun time. We went out on the town. I think the last night, and we kind of went around and we went to. So we were downtown. We were at Honky Tonk. There's like 2 separate places. I think I was with Nick and Ben, and you were with Rose, and I think Will or no, I think Connor was. I don't remember how it went, but no, it was Connor. It was Connor, me, and Nick. I think Ben and Rose were with you, and then Will and Zach were together. There was like 2 hockey talks, and I was at one. I remember we're like trying to find you guys. I was just like so exhausted because we went to Nashville Underground. And it must have been like almost midnight. I'm like, dude, I'm so tired. I just want to go home and we can find you. And we're like, I'm outside the building. Like, where? We're like, we're doing that for like half an hour. And then finally, like, I was texting Rose. I'm like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm just outside the club. There's like a hot dog stand there, I'm pretty sure. And then Rose like, oh, there's not one out here. Oh, I think I know where you are. Like, and then I like walked towards and I found her. And then finally we all met up. So that was fun.
I'm so bummed. I was caught up in work and
don't worry.
Life,
Vegas
and I couldn't. I wanted to go so bad.
Vegas next year.
Yeah, Vegas next year for sure.
If that's what's happening, yeah.
That's what I think's gonna happen.
Either way, like if they do it in another city, if they go to like LA or something, or they go to like, I would go to Colorado. Even I would go anywhere. Like the only place where I'm like, I probably wouldn't go like St. Louis. I'd be like, yeah, maybe I'll sit.
I wouldn't take you to St. Louis. No.
I would go to Tampa too. Like I would go.
Tampa would be so easy, please. Yeah. Oh my God, be in my backyard. Mm-hmm.
So it's like 3 or 4 hours from Indy, but it's the only reason I should go to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if it was ever in Edmonton, like,
I
think Rogers is like 5 minutes away from my house. Like, we're pretty close to the real. Like,
I'd come up.
Yeah, stay at my abode for sure. my parents' hospitality. I think you're muted. I think there's something wrong with your mic. It's still kind of hanging. There we go. Yeah.
And then we went to Chicago on the back half, and that was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, what happened was, so the Monday, I think it was the 26th of June, flew into Chicago. Didn't get there till like I think 8, 9. Like it was pretty late because my plane got delayed a few hours, and Rose was able to pick me up for the airport. And my phone was about to die. I'm like, I don't know if I can get an Uber, but thankfully Rose got a lift. I got to the house. We watched Teen Titans Go to the movies, and then Rose had to go to a funeral, so I went with Ben. Me and him went the car ride to Nashville. We stopped in Champaign, had some deep dish pizza for the first time. That was so fucking good. And then we went to Metropolis, and we got to see Superman. That was so cool. And then, yeah, it must have been, I think we left at like 10 and didn't get there till 8. So, yeah, it must have been like 10 hours about. And then, yeah, like, went to the draft and went to the second day of the draft. when Nick was there, like when that Tampa pick was made, like there was no one in the upper decks. It was just us. Like Tampa, baby, dynasty.
What up, Steel?
And then when we picked Nick up from the airport, like we saw. We're like, we're going to Waffle House, right? He's like, you bet. And then we went to Waffle. That was my first time going to Waffle House. It was Waffle House.
Yeah, it's and a Waffle Home.
Waffle Home. But yeah, and then Connor, our good friend Boomer, I had no idea he was coming. Like I think he texted me the day we were meeting Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde and Jesse Blake. And we also got to meet Ben Pope. That guy's like 6'6". He's a tall dude. I remember I saw him. He's like. Rose is like, oh, you're a pretty tall guy. He's like, yeah, I think I'm about 6'4". I'm like, no, you're like 6'6" or 6'7". You're pretty tall. You could play basketball. I don't know. But yeah, we got to meet him. That was cool, even if it was only for a few minutes. We got to see Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake. Got to take a picture with them. That was cool. And then like I think right as we were there, I got a text from Connor. He's like, are you guys in Nashville right now? I'm like, fuck yeah, we are. And he's like, yeah, I think I might be able to make it tomorrow. I'm like, no shit. He's like, you got a couch for me to crash on? I'm like, you bet we do. Get your ass over here. And then, yeah, the next morning we came here, and then we went to the second day of the draft, and then and went the night out in Nashville. Got back. We drove back to Chicago. I went with Rose and Ben. We stopped at the Cave and Rock Park, which was pretty cool. Took some epic pictures. We stopped somewhere else. We stopped at I forget where it was, but we stopped there too. Then we stopped at like a place, I think it was outside of Chicago. We had some Korean food, and then we got back there at like 9 at night, 10 at night almost, and then yeah. Then we spent the last couple nights in a hotel, and then we watched the movie. We like spent the whole day watching movies, and then the last day before it was Independence Day. Got to watch the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Chicago White Sox 4-3. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was a good game.
It was a really good game. Like the Blue Jays went up 2-0, and then Luis Robert just
called that
dismissal.
I literally like leaned into Rose, and I was just like, "It's going right where that chase sign is." 2 pitches later, boom, right to the chase sign. It was awesome.
And I was in my Frank Fleming moment right there.
He was just like massive depression mode until like this.
I was until the bottom of the 8th or whatever, or no, the top of the 8th. I check my phone. I see a tweet from a Blue Jays fan. Joe Kelly would be a great addition to the Blue Jays bullpen. And then right after, Vladdy just smacks an Oppo home run to win 4-3. But then I think the bottom of the 8th, like there was that play. I think it was Anderson where it was a foul ball, but I think it was Springer. He misplayed it, and then it bounced off him, and it was a fair ball, and he like ran to third, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. Because Robert came up to the plate. I'm like, if they're gonna like, it's now or never. Like if they get this run here, they're winning. If they don't, then they're not winning. And it was with 0 outs too. So and then Blue Jays got out of that, and then they won the game. And all in all, it was a great game. But like I feel. Like it was good vibes. I feel if the Jays lost that, I'd be a little pissed because, but it all worked out. First baseball game, and they won. That was cool. Oops, just dropped a bottle.
Oh yeah, then
We were
Pierce also went to Gibson's. That shit's fire.
Oh, Gibson's was so good.
Shout out Gibson's.
And also shout out the guy behind us at the bottom of the night, like, let's go, Jake Burger. We gotta hit a burger bomb out of here. And then Romano just struck out the side, I think. Yeah. And then there was like a Blue Jays fan that got thrown out or whatever, and then he like came back and everyone was cheering. I don't know what the hell happened. But yeah, and then like after that guy, we dabbed each other up. I'm like, yo, good game, man. Like, good game. We like hugged each other, and there was like a couple other Blue Jays fans, and we dabbed each other up. I'm like, yeah. And then got home happy, and then I left the next morning, and that was 9 days, and that just went by in the snap of a finger. And we're over a month later from that now. It's fucking crazy. Like, we're gonna do a podcast like the night we got in Nashville, but we're like, there's too many people, we're just gonna wait. And then we're gonna do one like I think the day before we went to the Jays game. We did record one, but my microphone for whatever reason did not work.
We had a good one
yeah,
too.
It was a good one, yeah. It was a banger. It was the first one that we did in person, but yeah, not to be. We'll have Vegas next year, wherever they decide if they want to hold it. So yeah, it was a great time. First time not only in the U.S. but like outside of Canada, so that was pretty cool.
But witness the States.
Yeah, it was something. No, Nashville is an awesome city, and Chicago is a great city too.
Facts.
But yeah, that's about it. Like, it was such a great time though.
It was a fucking blast, dude. Oh, it was great.
Mm-hmm. Well, do I have any Twitter questions? I don't know. I tweeted something out, but
there's one. It's just Barbie or Oppenheimer first.
Oh, of course we gotta talk about that. We can't not talk about that.
Oh boy.
We had like a debate with my friends. I'm like, we gotta see Barbie first because I feel if we see Oppenheimer first, we're just gonna be depressed going to Barbie. We'll go to Barbie first, get the giddy fun out of the way, see Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling slay, and then we'll just go home depressed after watching Oppenheimer. Both incredible movies, both very opposite movies, but
polar opposites.
Did you see? Did you see? I think it was the same day that there's like a Paw Patrol movie getting released.
Yeah, Saw Patrol baby. Saw Patrol baby, get excited!
Oh my! I want to see that.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so fucking good.
I feel that's gonna be a thing from now on, where it's just like double header, where you just got this like this happy movie and then just this dark, depressing movie to the it's that picture of those homes and like. On like I think it's like in LA or something where it's like the pink colorful home and then it's just like the completely black house. That's what it's going to be with these movies from now on. Then there's the Five Nights at Freddy's movies coming out soon. Let's go. I think it comes out near my birthday. That's going to be pretty epic, I think. So yeah, I saw Barbie first and then Oppenheimer. What did you do, Dylan? If you're still here, can you hear me? Reagan, did you see Barbie or Oppenheimer yet?
I haven't seen either of them yet. I've been
No.
Well, the weekend they came out was
that would have been last weekend. Yeah,
I think it was the weekend after we moved, and we already had stuff going on.
Yeah, so not a lot of time.
We were gonna go this past weekend, but we need to be better about like not doing something every single weekend. So we force ourselves to stay home and not spend money. But I want to hopefully go soon.
I still want to see Asteroid City. Like, it's still on my watch list, but that'll be
it's
soon.
on digital now, so you can just buy
already. It came out a month ago. And they wonder why no one goes to the cinemas anymore.
That's the world we live in. That movie made more money than it was supposed to make, though. So like,
Asteroid World? Or?
Yeah. Like,
how many more billions did it make? As in more billions.
Not more billions. I'll tell you that much. But for a movie that's like that small, I'm pretty sure it did pretty well.
$25 million budget, $46.6 million at the box office.
Yep, that's pretty good for what it is.
Barbie had a budget of 128 to 145 million, 780 million at the box office. That's probably gonna hit $1 billion by the end of the week.
Yep, and Oppenheimer's the second biggest biopic.
$100 million budget, 405.6 million.
Yep. Only one it has to beat at the box office to be like the biggest rated R biopic ever is American Sniper, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, so that they're both great movies though. Like there's gonna be Oscar noms across the board from both of them for very different regards, but
I don't think Christopher Nolan's ever got a best director. I thought that is a like sign of a great director because I think most of the great directors never won a best director. I don't think.
Kubrick never did.
No, Hitchcock never did. Orson Welles never did. You know, the best. And Nolan.
Real directors.
Yeah. I don't even think Tarantino's won a best director. I think Scorsese did, but he also had to wait like 40 years to get one too. So I think he got it for The Departed.
The Departed.
Wrong, but
yeah, I mean, like, I don't think they care about like. So I think some directors do, but others don't. I mean, like, you got a filmography or like a filmography as good as Nolan, like, or any of those guys. I don't think they care.
What do you think is better? Right? Is it Nolan or would you go Nolan or Tarantino? That's a tough one. I don't know who.
Like like if we're going right now, Nolan. But like,
yeah.
Like if we're going like 20 years ago, like that's the thing. Like I can't compare. It's hard to compare them because like when Tarantino was putting out like, I don't know, man. I'd probably take Nolan just because I find to like his movies a lot more. But like
I feel like Tarantino makes great movies, great dialogue, like great memorable characters. But I feel like Christopher Nolan makes these like movies that like warp what like Inception and like Tenet, like just
Interstellar, man. Like, oh my god, The Dark Knight, like just so many good ones.
Yeah, and it's all subjective, but yeah, that's why I love Kubrick so much because he just like a lot of movies just fuck with your head, and I think Nolan kind of does that too.
Oh yeah, dude, and he just like he understands the scale of film, which like a lot of these guys, that's like when it comes to like large blockbuster type stuff, that's where I start to lean towards because like him and like Denis, like the way they understand scale in some of these blockbusters is insane. Like
I feel like Nolan has been able to like mix blockbuster, but like with not like a formulaic movie, but like something new that challenges audiences, and it's not like generic movie slop crap, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, 100%. Like it's just a whole nother ball game. And I appreciate that there's still filmmakers out there like that. And like that could be said for Barbie too, because Greta Gerwig's like handprints are all over this movie. Like granted, she has made some fantastic movies. I wouldn't say that Barbie's her best movie, but
Lady Bird.
Yeah, I was gonna say Little Woman. Like there's some good ones that she's made, but like
did Jackie too.
That movie had an extreme amount of heart. Like the best way I can describe it to people is Barbie is for what like the way I looked at it is it was like the Lego movie to me, but with Barbie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the whole time. Like,
but with
which I also love the Lego movie.
Exactly, I fucking love the Lego movie, and I like Barbie a lot. And I think there was a great.
Both have Will Ferrell as well.
Yeah, as an exec or like a dad or some big villain character, which is hilarious. But I thought that movie was really good. It had a really good like undertone, like theme to it and whatnot. And I don't know, that movie's gonna resonate for a lot of people for a long time, and that makes me happy.
I respect, doing something different like Barbie. Like no one's like, oh, it's like a Barbie. Even when I heard it coming out first, I'm like, fucking Barbie. Who the hell is gonna see that? And then I saw the trailer. It was like the 2001 inspired trailer. I'm like, I gotta watch this match.
And then they start the movie like that. Like
I know.
And it was a funny movie too. Like the humor in that was good.
But yeah, I don't know what the hell I was gonna say next, but when's the movie podcast gonna start? I know Rose said she wants to do one.
I know Rose wants to do one real bad.
Yeah, just be like, whenever you guys talk about Kubrick movie, bring me on because that's my stuff. But yeah, what do you? I didn't ask you. What did you do? What order did you go in? I went Bobby and Oppenheimer. Did you do opposite or did you?
I said opposite. I saw Oppenheimer Thursday at 5 in 70 millimeter. It's fucking great.
Hell yeah!
But I was like, I'm glad I didn't see Barbie right after. I waited like 2 hours because like I had to sit there for a minute and just be like,
yeah, I had to. That's why
it's a heavy movie, dog.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to do Barbie first. I'm like, okay, let's have the fun movie. I can move on, and then like Oppenheimer. At least when I'm done, I can like sit there and take because I knew it was gonna be like impressive, and it was. But it was a great movie, great acting, great like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I saw Barbie, and Barbie was great too. It was just like my only complaint with Barbie is the pacing's a little jarring at times because like
It hates men.
oh, I don't give a shit about that.
It's too woke of a movie.
Here's my thing. It takes a lot for me to pull out my phone during the movie, and there was one time where I pulled out my phone during Barbie. That's the only thing I got a gripe with because like I like the first fucking 45 minutes of that movie are fucking amazing. Like you're locked in, and then like I feel like it just gets a little lost in the middle, but then it comes right back at the end. So it's like it's a great 8 out of 10 for me. and it was like good vibes to end the night too. And like we had like a packed theater. I saw it in Dolby, so like it was just like a bunch of people and like pink and out. Like it was a good crowd to go see it in. And then Oppenheimer was just Oppenheimer's a packed theater at 5:00 on a Thursday, which I thought was awesome. And it's still selling out in IMAX here. So
it gives
I don't know.
hope.
Movies are back.
Yeah, it gives hope. And then the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming out later this year. Let's go! Get excited, FNAF Nation.
Dude, I'm ready for Dune.
That's true. I still haven't seen the first. It's on my watch list.
Well,
you know what? Maybe I'll do that after because I don't have to work tomorrow. I can stay up all night doing whatever the hell I want.
Oh, dude, Dune's fucking good, dude. That what I was just talking about with like Scale. That's Denis Villeneuve or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
I always mispronounce his name, but like that guy understands scale. Like that's what I want Star Wars to look like all the time. Like, but it's its own thing and it's just as cool, honestly. And the cast is loaded in that movie. Like it's insanity. You get to see Oscar Isaac be a dad.
You didn't have to, have a kid to be one. I heard he was in the first place.
Exactly. Now he gets an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, cinema and then things of that nature.
Go to the movies, kids.
Yeah. Film is great. Like, yeah. Well, that's about it. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add, or we can wrap this up.
All good on my end.
Honestly, I'm thinking about doing maybe a live stream tomorrow for the MLB trade deadline, just for something to do. But if Bo Bichette is injured, I'm gonna kill myself, so that won't happen. It's all dependent on that, what happens. So.
Bo Bichette holds my mental health for that.
Yeah, I like saw that while I was recording. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'm not gonna react. But then as soon as like speaking of injured, I'm like, oh, speaking of injured, yeah, yeah, whatever. Anyways, thank you all for tuning into the podcast again. Sorry, it's been like a month and a half since we last said the podcast. Like we wanted to do one in Nashville, but it was like too many people. We'll just wait till we get back to Chicago with 3 of us and. Then we did, and then God said, no, actually, no. And then my microphone cut out. And we did like an hour and a half podcast then, so I was pissed. But then the Jays won, so I made everything all right. And I went home happy. And then work's gone back on, but now finally I have the time to do it. So, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. I don't think we'll be doing much episodes throughout the summer. Like, we're gonna take some break. We're gonna reset. We have stuff going on in our lives right now, but once it's September, like when football is going, when training's gonna happen for the NHL preseason and like the MLB playoffs, or like October, it's gonna be full gear again. And there's actually hope for a team this year. Like it'll actually be fun watching the Blackhawks this year. So I think we'll be doing more podcasts this year. I think we'll do more live stream. Like I'm really excited for what the next season holds, but for the next month, like we're gonna go off the grid and enjoy our time off. So Dylan and Reagan, it was a pleasure doing this with y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your night. And to the wonderful people listening to our podcast, thank you for supporting and listening, and of course giving our podcast a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, and also subscribing and turning on the notification bell. So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your night. Peace out.